I mean, I think he's going to do fine offensively. To be honest, he has no choice. I think this stint right here with the Clippers is going to determine the future of Bradley Beal. And he's on the clock right now. And he has no excuses not to flourish in this offense, especially when having a coach like Ty Lue who max out guys. We saw it last year. He maxed out Big Zubac. You saw Norman Powell have a career year under Ty Lue, and we seeing James Harden be one of the best facilitators last season, but over the last 3 seasons, this is on Bradley Beal how he's going to be utilized. Bradley Beal has to come in and do his part. The team is going to put him in position to be successful, but again, he's on the clock. I think this stint right here is going to determine the future of his career.
Dave, let me ask you this here. How can they not fall into the same traps that maybe Phoenix did in that situation? Or how can he play differently and the Clippers can handle this situation differently than Phoenix might have?
Well, first of all, Phoenix didn't really have a point guard. That was the problem. They brought in Tyus last year, but the first year it was switching. Now it's your turn, KD. Now it's your turn, Bradley Beal. Now it's your turn, Devin Booker. I think the team construction makes more sense for Bradley Beal here, but to me it just comes down to, like, this guy, 13 years in the NBA, 3-time All-Star, more than $318 million in career earnings, and 3 playoff series that he's won in that time. So he's finally in a situation, theoretically, where he can go on a deep playoff run. And let me tell you, I've had the good fortune of covering championship teams with the Lakers and the Cavaliers in my time, many finals teams as well. There's nothing like being part of a team and playing round after round after round. It really makes you closer with your teammates, and it's the pinnacle NBA experience. I think if he can experience that with the Clippers here, he may have found his final home in the NBA.
David Dennis Jr.?
The best thing that the Clippers got with Bradley Beal and a lot of their moves that they did this offseason was they have a lot of wild cards now. Now, Bradley Beal was not a guy who would be for a big 3. We saw that with Phoenix, where you can have 3 guys with the offensive skill set that can carry a team with a lot of deficiencies. He's not being asked to do that. He's going to score well with this team, and a lot of other players will too. But what you get from Bradley Beal is a guy who, on a given playoff night, Game 5, Game 6, he can swing that series. He can give you 35 on one of those nights. Chris Paul can have a perfect Chris Paul game on one of those nights. What you have with the Clippers is a lot of versatility and a lot of guys who come playoff time can swing the tenor of an entire series. Don't tell me the Clippers could not have used a guy like Bradley Beal in Game 7 when everything was falling apart. If he gets hot in a close playoff series, he could be the difference between the Clippers falling apart and having a miracle win, because you have, again, one of those guys is a wild card.
Well, you know, I think the interesting part, and you mentioned it, Dave, was certainly the roster construction, I think, is much more beneficial for Bradley Beal. But the one thing none of you guys mentioned, and you started to allude to it in regards to career earnings, he can get paid again, okay? My man's only 32, 33 years old. He's got one more contract in him. There's a lot of motivation there for sure. All right, the Clippers over-under win total as a team has been set at 47.5 at ESPN Bet Sportsbook, 6th highest in the West, behind the Thunder, Rockets, Nuggets, Wolves, and Lakers. So, David Dennis Jr., where do you put the Clippers in the West?
I'm putting the Clippers in the second half of the playoff picture in the West. I'm not doing this thing with the Clippers again. I put all my chips in the middle on the Clippers last year, and I went bankrupt, banking on Kawhi Leonard, banking on James Harden, thinking that these guys were going to come through in the playoffs. I have a lot of questions about this team this year. Yes, they have a lot of talent. The age is one thing, but I'm not going to assume that we're going to get a healthy Kawhi Leonard for a lot of years. I'm not going to assume that James Harden is suddenly going to show up in the playoffs in a way that we have not seen before. I was wrong about the Clippers at the beginning of the year when the over-under was 35 games. Then I went all in on the Clippers and was wrong. This one, I'm going to temper my expectations on them. I know a lot of people are excited. I'm looking at this Clippers team to be anywhere from 5 to play in the West, because I don't expect a healthy total season with the age of all the guys they have on that roster.
Yeah, I mean, David, first of all,
I agree 1,000.
Perk,
go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
Well, you got it, Perk.
No, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Okay.
I want to hear what you got to say.
Well,
go ahead.
I'm just going to say, first of all, David, perfect metaphor, putting your chips in the middle of the table, talking about the Clippers, because we know Ty Lue is spending his whole offseason in Vegas, enjoying his time at the Aria. But really, when it comes down to the Clippers, I think sixth best, I think, was their odds. That makes sense. I think they'll be in the 5 to 8 range, and they have depth. I think you could say 1 through 10 that you could put that roster up with any other team in the Western Conference. The problem is some of that depth is older guys like Batum, like Chris Paul, like Brook Lopez, and even Bradley Beal, who's younger, was not very available these last few years in Phoenix. And so and the guy we see on screen too, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, the biggest question since 2018 is Kawhi Leonard, and can he stay on the floor for the Clippers? So to me, if they can get maximum health out of those guys, they have a shot maybe to creep up from the 5 to 8 range to the, maybe 2 through 4. He's not going to get number 1. But I would say there is a legitimate question mark about the age of some of their role players. Perk?
I'm with both guys. I'm with David and Dave. I see them at the bottom part of the West, meaning 5 through 8. And here's why. While other teams were out there going and getting younger at the most important position in the NBA, the wing position, the Clippers got older. Like, you have to be able to slide those puppies on the perimeter and defend at a high level. I can't put all my chips in the middle of the table banking that CP3, James Harden, Bradley Beal, and uncertain Kawhi is going to get stops. Obviously, OKC is there. You have to respect them. They have set the bar. But when you look at a team like the Houston Rockets, they're loaded with what? Wings, athleticism, youth. It's a reason that Amen Thompson wasn't available when they were trying to get Kevin Durant. It's a reason why the Rockets held on to a guy like Tari Eason, who's another elite wing defender. Hell, they just picked up another wing yesterday off of waivers in a Kogi. So that's what you need to load up for. That's what the directions. No rebounds, no rings, but no rings when it comes down to defending.
It's a new one.
So you got to be able to defend at a high level.
Perk, you're a poet and didn't even know it, man. That's how this works today here, apparently, on this show. All right. Well, in order for the Clippers to make noise out in the West, they will have to mesh together. And, fellas, there are a few things in this world that work together better than this. But today is National Peanut Butter and Chocolate Day. And I know peanut butter and jelly gets all the love for the best duo out there. But the pairing of peanut butter and chocolate, I think they give PB&J a little run, okay? That's just me. But let's take a look at this little metaphor here. We know that SGA and J-Dub deserve the top spot and the respect as the best duo as the reigning champs. But what duo is kind of nipping at their heels here, a la peanut butter and chocolate, Perk?
You know what? I'm gonna go to the East, and I'm going to go with some other young dogs. I'm going to go with Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. I feel like this is going to be their year. I know last year, right, things didn't end how they wanted it to end, but I think those two guys are going to help lead the Cavs to where they're trying to go this season, and they learn from having a disappointing season last year in the postseason. I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell, still one of the most elite perimeter players in the game. We saw the strides that Evan Mobley took last year, winning Defensive Player of the Year, making his first-time All-Star appearance. He's going to continue to grow under Kenny Atkinson. I'm looking at those two to be on SGA and J-Dub heels and duplicate somewhat just from a small and big standpoint what they done, what SGA and J-Dub done this year and helping OKC capture their first championship.
That's a pretty good one, Perk. David Dennis Jr., what do you got?
Oh, well, first of all, when we're talking about the Clippers, we were talking about them being in the 5 or 8. I think peanut butter and chocolate should be more closer to 5 to 8 than number 2 right behind peanut butter and jelly. First of all, you ain't salted caramel, you ain't caramel apple, you ain't popcorn.
Reese's peanut butter cup.
Too much on
that's a classic candy.
Too much on peanut butter and chocolate right now. That's my first objection with the whole thing. Second of all, I don't even, back to what Perk was saying, I don't think that he was talking about the best duo in the East. I think the best duo in the East and the second best in the league is actually Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns for what they've done. We saw last season offensively, they were unstoppable for large portions in that season, especially when they got that pick and roll going. They didn't utilize it enough. Now you bring Mike Brown into that organization, a guy who is going to move the ball around, who's going to go a little bit more of the pick and roll, a little bit more of those handoffs. We already saw at their height, those guys had those 5 20-point games each in one series. We ain't seen that since Shaq and Kobe. I think they're going to level up offensively this year and be the second best duo in the league and the best duo in the Eastern Conference.
I'll talk about a duo we haven't seen yet. Houston Rockets with Alperen Şengün and Kevin Durant. Maybe Jokic and one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen. Big boy Jokic, he benefits by having that spacer, that gunner in Jamal Murray. Well, how about Jamal Murray, who's 6'11", and Kevin Durant, and with something to prove after the debacle that was Phoenix. I think they're tough as heck, and you add up their averages last year, you're talking about 45 points, 16 rebounds, 9 assists. They can get it done in a variety of ways offensively. One guy can be the screener, the other can be the guy with the ball, or vice versa. And I want to see what Ime Udoka does with those two.
Listen, I'm going to go with a little bit of an older mix here. Luka Doncic, not old, right? LeBron James. All right, LeBron James, what we saw last year from Christmas on regarding his defense, night in, night out, he was the best defender with the Lakers. And then I think, I'm with you, Perk, I think this is a Luka MVP type year. So I'm going to go nipping at the heels of SGA and J-Dub. I'm going to go LeBron and Luka. All right, coming up, it's that time of year when the NBA players get on hot summer mics. Hear what Nikola Jokic had to say about how much longer he could be playing. Don't miss it. NBA Today is back after this.
Look at that hottie. The Takis Fuego